All right, we're back in. We're back in. How do you do today, people? Wow. I'm not gonna lie, hey, it's been a pretty cool Saturday. Been a pretty cool Saturday and everything. It's it's still pretty hot over here. Set up for a little while and got some good rest in, some good visionary, some good beating of the soul and everything. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Vern? You know, I went around knocking on doors and seeing how people was doing today. Uh, Soaked in a lot from uh, from the inside first, from the inside first, and then out and everything, and then like I said, knocked on some doors and everything. Soaked in. Excuse me. Soaked in. Uh, Mommy Waters. We soaked in also. Hey, while we was in the water, we went to the pond. You know what I'm saying? Minnow and pond. You know what I'm saying? I went over there, soaked up some of his. Well, I can't say. Well, I can't say waters. Yeah, it's just in a pond. You know what I mean? Just in a pond. You know. But then again, he just it wasn't just in a pond of water and everything. This is really moving across the chessboard and everything. So we went ahead and checked out all 8 positions of the pawns and everything on the chessboard, on each level and everything, all 3 levels too. You know what I'm saying? So we had to check on uh, the different ways that we can make it across each plateau to grow up and be a queen, to grow up and be a queen, or slash even hey, after so many lives maybe, or so many, we get across one level, got to go another level, go back again another level. So that's 3 levels right there, at least, I guess. And then maybe we have that option of becoming what? An empress, you know? We have the option of becoming an empress and everything. And it's not really to impress anybody, it's just to make sure that we did learn going across each level, as whether we were a pond, we were that one protecting the castle, or hey, a horse, of horses, of course, you know. The thing about the horse and everything, it was kind of cool and everything because they are the 23 and everything. You know what I'm saying? You go up 2 spaces over to the 3, or either you go up 3 spaces over to the 2. You know, and so it's it's reminiscent actually on what's her name's video, 3223 of Doc, Teledoc, Tarot Doc. You know what I'm saying? Tarot Doc, yeah, she was cool too. And then I even soaked in Big Lynn, and Lynn was landing in, he landed down, wasn't in the vibrant colors and everything, but hey, with his soul bringing out like that, he don't necessarily need all them vibrant colors like that, that's enough, So it's a good thing, it's just a matter of perspective. Everything is a matter of perspective, you know what I mean? And so even went over to do some contemplation with that of Miss Yin, Kuan Yin, and everything, And ooh wee, I'm talking about timing, perfect. I mean, I'm talking about fire. I wasn't even talking about today. I was talking about all the way back, the first video, second and third videos and stuff and everything, when she introduced Bess, as the warrior. Even, wow, look at that. Listen to that. Even as 454 with bark and everything to the left. Bess as the warrior on against Aries. Aries is messed up, and the ancestors sent Bess to fuck up Aries. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, 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 tripping, tripping. And that was in the same freaking year, 21, 21 and everything. Even, I think it was, I was looking to get closer to the date, but it's in the same month, the 12th month and everything. And so to see all of that, I was like, wow, put my faith back in time. It's like, whoa, I mean, I really set up and had to sink that in. You know what I mean? And then to go over and showed you guys and everything again. Just even the word April itself, you know what I'm saying? It's straight rubbish, dirt, dust. Well, dust. Let's keep it kosher first. Dust. And I'm gonna say kosher just to say dust. Okay. And then the to the ground mortar. You know, to rubbish, straight trash, straight trash. All of those words is inside of that. And this, whereas the man points out, gave you the video, gave you the verses and everything, as he did too. And starting even at chapter 2, when he formed man from that dust, that word dust right there is that word apar. Okay, apar or april or afril, F. You could put an F in there too, you know what I'm saying? It's fees, it's the F, is 6, F6, you know what I'm saying? F16 even, So all of those things just hit right in. And even to 3:19, your children shall be as the dust. So the children is going to be like trash and rubbish. So then it's no wonder. It's no wonder in a lot of things. It's no wonder why they call it Wonder Bread, and it's trash. It's not even like, you know what I'm saying? It's no wonder. It's not. Truthfully, it is the German word Wunderbar. Wunderbar. Because it's some Baal type of shit, and it's a Wunder. It's a Wunder. You know what I mean? At least they kept the V sound and the Wunder, you know? Over here, we just went wah, 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 wah. 7:30 on the clock, 7:03 on the clock. Yes, 7:03. Oh, wow, that was Nimrod right there. 7:03. Damn. Crazy, crazy, crazy. This sucks. It's just still sinking. We just walking. And so, yeah. So the story that the guy gave also inside of the book of Bereshit, Genesis, as he was going over, you know, breaking it down and everything for those of us. See, this is what this basically is right now. You know, it's not necessarily for those who didn't know, like uh, Lynn said, you know what I'm saying? Not really necessary trying to tell us anything new, but it's just, hey, for those people but it's a lot of people that don't know. It's a lot of people that don't know, you know? And even though a lot of people do know, it's just only to certain degrees. They're not grasping it fully. And even so when we look at the word rubbish and trash, then we look at all the different neighborhoods and we look at all the people and so forth, and we see that, you know what I'm saying? Because reality and everything, like he said, he was stating inside there, he says, he made man out of dust. So this is dust and everything. And so what happens is, even the story he told, I remember, I guess I still call him my cousin for right now, just for GP, Andy, which I think I told you that share with you once before that he came from Mary Jean, which is actually the firstborn. She's actually the firstborn. Okay, so they started genes already, so she was the first one. Then, so he actually should be Gene the third. Okay, because she was married Gene the first, so he was Eugene the third. So actually, Eugene, the one he's saying the third, is really the fourth. He's really the fourth. And what happens is, Andy, his dad, oh wow. Somebody said it. I didn't say it. Somebody said it. I didn't say it. But we know where that came from now. We know where the real ISIS or Ra El. But anyways, wow. Didn't see, that's crazy. And that's what we sit up here. We both pretty much saying the same thing. Except they pretty much do know that, this is Israel, but so why they fucking it up, I don't know. But that the flat cross there on a tilt, on that 90, or was it 45-degree angle, is, well, I guess, and, because we got two ends of it is 45 degrees, so that's 99. And then the upside down, invert, that's 99 right there too, if it's at a 45-degree angle, right? So that's the whole thing of it right there. That's the whole significance of why they turned it. All right, reduce that 45 down, and so you got everything. You got four angles of 440. So that's 99.99 right there. You know what I'm saying? Agent 99 like a motherfucker, homie. I didn't even think about that. So as all these things are happening, how you doing, sir? Thank you. All right, thank you. Yeah. So what happens is, he told me the same story, Andy, and his name is Andy, and like Anunnaki, Anak. Got that keychain for him again over when I went to Hawaii, Maui, and that's where I found out his name was Anak, and so his father, whoever his father was, his father went and broke his feet as a baby, and what's crazy? Well, I'm not gonna say that's crazy for one by itself, okay? But what he did tell me, he did recant that story that the Bible teacher did instruction on Genesis that we're looking at. He recanted that story in a different way, but it was still the same. And what he stated was, hey, the same thing story as far as I'm going to go ahead and make, make man and everything. He's talking to God. God is talking to man. I guess his big head, just say for instance, big head Yakub. You say for instance. And so basically what he does go ahead and do, he reached down there and went for the dirt. And he said, don't you touch that dirt. And because I made that too. Okay, so inside the video, he did go ahead and state he himself thought that, hey, because to even think on a higher realm than that, to be that man come from dirt, as opposed to even just the thought and speaking the atom itself into existence, in a sense of Adam Kadmon, in a sense of that, okay, in a sense of that, but not really so. Well, in a sense, yeah, I'm gonna lean with it. We got to get down to the definition of Kadmon, though, at the same time, also, okay. But so what he was saying basically, and it came up on the truck right now, he said the blueprint, okay, the blueprint. He said that is what he could not. This is what they're after, and could not reproduce. But they did have the knowledge of how to go ahead and do it, and that's the reason why we multiplied so many people first. Then at the same time, A lot of them are clones. Okay, that's why it just bubbled up overnight, so to speak. Along with the retardation of the Earth at 72 degrees. Okay, 72 degrees and everything. Every 72 years, the retardation of the Earth is 1 degree. Okay, so even those elders that are 72 years old, they have already gone back in regression, especially those who did not keep up their bodily, their mental faculties, especially. And we're talking about in all areas because the body reflects that of the mental also. Okay? Especially those who did not keep it up, but even took things to make them be super, you know, as the meth did for, keeping people up. And we saw the methamphetamines, okay? It's like the fentanyl, okay? All these things we see, and I personally experienced it myself. Why do I say that? How do I tell you that? Because when I was in the military, they had introduced pretty much this type of stuff they're smoking right now to the military as weed, so they could pass the test. So they were the guinea pigs inside of there. Okay, now they've definitely upped it up, and that's 1987. All right, 1987, and so when I went to prison, from 2003 to 2016, we saw the same thing come in for the inside, and those are nothing but testing grounds also. And we saw it was even stronger. Like I said, I was like, wow. But then when I got out, I went over to Tanzania, and this is what they're selling for weed over there. That's what they're selling for weed. Or either it's dirt, just straight dirt. And on top of the brown clear. So Africa fucked up for reals. Either you're a smart nigger or nigga, you know what I'm saying? Or pretty, it's pretty bleak. It's pretty bleak in that sense. And this is just not Africa, but it's all over the world. As we have gone and checked all over the world and looking at the different slums that exist all over the world. It's pretty something. It's not pretty, but it's something. It's something pretty ugga. It's ugga. Ugly, you know what I'm saying? It's something ugly. And I guess like the what's his name? Pablo Escobar, or Pablo Kim, they know a lot of things. They know a lot of good things about the body. They will help you heal the body because that's the RX, that's how they create their security, This is how they create their security and everything. With the DX, diagnosis and everything. So all of those things are simply here and now. And they promise to love faithfully. And they'll tell you that you're all I need. But only for what? Here and now. Why? Because they already know that we already came from trash, from ash to ashes, and dust to dust. They will return. So everyone who does not pick up these, have not picked up and rightly divide the word of truth, so that, okay, So that's the actual multiplication. If it's a multiplication, then there's division inside of that thing also. So you got to look at all the pluses, minuses, all those things, spaces and words, all 213 on the clock. Down to come. 2013, yeah. All those things in which one would readily and hurriedly read over just to get out of the class, just to get, especially out of a Bible class sometimes, unless you are Latter-day Saints and you're the missionaries, you know what I'm saying? You literally love to lay down missionary style, you know what I'm saying? You know, okay, hey. Or the Mormons, you know, they just want more, more, more. How do you like it? How do you like it? It's, you know what I'm saying? As Eugene Brown, I got to go ahead and tell him he the third now, you know, because you got to respect that of the first. You know, she was born on that, maybe on that quarter cusp also of March, April, which means trash. Okay? Which means trash. It means dust. It means rubbish. All right? And it's the hyphen and quotation mark around the ish. Well, I guess the rub too, you know, because they rub, you know, stroke an ego or here and there, you know. I guess, but I ran past when I was doing all this, I ran past Kuan Yin's, you know, capiche. I didn't see the double dollar signs on that, you know what I'm saying? I said, oh, whoa, she was like, you know, yeah, you know, the blood, you know, the money hungry people, money hungry, you know, hey, give me some likes or what do you call it? Uh, followers. We need some followers. 20, it's 2:13 on the clock. We need some followers. And so yeah, Mary Jean, firstborn woman, firstborn girl inside that Brown clan. And I do mean clan, you know. That's what the ninth. That's what chapter 37 is. That of the I Ching is called the clan. Okay, and that was the first clue to the Klux. Klux of who? The rooster, which is Eugene Brown the third, which is the second, or just call him Junior. Okay, let's call him Junior. You know, and all of those. Anyway, close to Eugene. I mean, to Damien, to Nisha and Damien. Okay, so that's the firstborn daughter, and she's really their firstborn daughter. Right? She was really their firstborn daughter, and then their last-born son, which is Da, which is feminine right there, with Da. Me on, okay, priest of on, and the M. They didn't give him the I, you know, and I did show you that with out of this Japanese story and everything, in which Rena, you know, she had spelled her name with an I, you know, changed her name to an E because the I was icky. Sort of like I guess like the same along the lines of Bruce Lee said, there is no I. Except for the I shares that we do know, hey, the backwards, forwards thing of the birth certificate, you know, the conjoining of the pact of the nations and so forth, which was in numbers 2, you know, the flags and everything. When they conjoined that, when they made that conjunction right there, that's when the shares started happening already. And hey, went to the store to get the stuff, make for war because they're about to go ahead and start some wars up and everything, you know, since everybody was trash anyway, you know. And so this is what the golden cities were in a general sense. I guess they made 10 of them in a general sense, you know, 10 countries that are 12 countries there we are divided up in. But it's really a 10 plus 2 because that is really the X, which is really the revelation. But this is the revelation of Genesis right now. So we're still in sync. Revelation of Genesis, and we see the 10 right there was, again, chapter 10 of the Republic. The Republic. They're going to republicize all of this rubbish as Neo in the Matrix. Which is basically the one. You know what I mean? The one of who? Out of Hien, which is the I Ching's equivalent of 216, but the Oracle there, as they have gone ahead and taken themselves to be the creative, not the creator. Okay? Not the creator, the creative. All right? And so they just, free. Yeah, that's free right there. Everything is free. 55 Isaiah. Come on over for free. But back to the Bible, the biblical guy. He was explaining how everything is, what did he say? They have what it is the blueprint. And this is what they're mass producing. The blueprint. You know what I'm saying? Blueprint through what? Okay. It's what they're mass producing. And they got a horseshoe set, sort of like that. You know what I'm saying? Get the whole print and everything. You know what I mean? And then they go ahead and put them on an assembly line and ship them on out to wherever places they got to go. Even, hey, sign them up for the UN Blues, you know what I'm saying? It's like all police station sheriffs, they got their blue UNs, dually existing within a different locker. And, but it's just a blueprint. So that is the reason why, being that they know that rubbish is rubbish any damn way, and this is the contract. This is what they signed up for. This is Baal. This is why, what's his name? Baal. Not Baal. What's his name? With the donkey and everything. Balaam. Baal. Okay. Allah. Balaam. So it's the soul of Al, the people. Okay. And so even though, hey, the angel of the Lord stopped them 20 times, even the ass itself, the donkey itself, and they put it in the feminine form in chapter 22, held him because the angel of the Lord was going to smash his ass, but they didn't give him a fuck. He didn't give a fuck at the end. Hey, it's all about that man. It's all about that paper. You know what I mean? In the end, that's what it was about. So then in 2 Peter 2:16 is where they go ahead and they say, and even the dumbass, okay, the dumb Sam, basically dumbass, dumb Sam, or Mas, meaning more, the one wanting more, okay, or Dumas, the blackamoor, all right, speaking in a feminine voice. Speaking in a male voice. So we just switched the dumbass, the she-ass in chapter number 22 to the Dumas in chapter 2 of Timothy 2:16, and it's a masculine form. So we see both genders take, they didn't leave it all on the female, They didn't get it. So the female started it, but now the men ended it. And they coyly, it was a koi, like a koi fish. They did it pretty good. Why? Because, see, they only in the Hebrew could you see all of the women, that was of the old. Testamentality, because in the New Testamentality, they spoke for all the women to be quiet in the church, you know, to be quiet in Captain Kirk, which means church, you know, and for the man is the head. And so this is where it became it ceased from becoming his, because we're, you know, uh, serpentine, of our serpentine nature and everything, of the Homo sapien. We're no longer the erectus, okay? But, to from history, which is going to be more of the Naga, and especially you can see all the feminine Nagas, be it from Buddha to everybody, all right? To his story, and then put it in as one S, and then put it in a masculine sense, like, you know, they didn't erase women out the book and everything. You know what I mean? It's it was pretty brilliant. I'm not gonna lie. It's like bravo. You know, you can't get fucking mad, especially if people don't necessarily want to read 3:31:13 on the clock. People don't want to necessarily motherfucking read. God, you can't even get mad. You know, they did everything by law, by their galactic law. Of course, they can change it up any damn way, as we see right now. You know, because hell, everybody, you know, they started it out, but even with the whole name and everything of whether it be Homo erectus or the Homo sapien, it already started out as Homo. It already started out as, so therefore it was going to go ahead. If we pick up some dust and we speak whatever it is, we're just following those first things, first same words and everything. We speak that thing into existence, whatever that is, and most of the time it's already coming from pre-existing words. To just flip it. It's just a flip it, rub it down, flip it, smack it up, and rub it down. You know. Oh no, no, no ho. Oh no, no ho. Oh, oh no, ho on. Oh, back again. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. And that one house I showed you in Santa Monica, they had wrote it all over and everything. You know, it's pretty sad because they did go, and they even took down another house, you know, across the street from Santa Monica City College. They even took down another house too. So they didn't want, whoever it was, they didn't want to sell. You know, they didn't want to sell, but they went ahead and made them sell, got them out of there. So that's pretty much what we're doing all over the world. And as we're seeing, you know, even people, the space and everything are even having to move into graveyards, straight graveyards and stuff again. Okay? You know, because literally the whole world is looking just like this. You know? Just like this. You know? But it's stated. It's stated, you know, like I said, because every 72 years it goes back, it's retardation. All right. And so being that this was more massive than anyone normally, yeah, excuse me, because it's the culmination of all 12 uh, galaxies or constellations, however you want to do it. Zodiac house constellation. It's the sum total of all 12. It's not just one. You know, to give us that 25,900 and 20 years, and the 1296 to go to that of the 144,000 or 144 chosen ones. You know, of Numbers 27:3. You know, the Zelophehad daughters, and those of us who know what's going on, you know. And that's in the physical sense of the daughters and everything, but that's also in the feminine sense of the masculine who is in touch, turned on both sides of their brain, and they're not acting. They're not acting. We're not just moving in action. Action like lacks. It lacks what? See, action was even just putting the word, picking the dust up to formulate. But what lacked out of that right there, as the guy was talking about, was the atom. I mean, the soul. This is what lacked out of the whole thing right there was the soul. So even though anybody can go ahead and put together a clone today, you know, doesn't mean they're gonna have the brains and or logic where logic is logos. They might have a logo, business and shit like that, but there's nothing, you know, and they might be tech savvy, but the originality, it's not gonna come out. It's just not gonna come out because it's not them. It's not them, man. It's only a figment of their wishery of wanting to be, everybody's pretty much liars like Pinocchio, When he lied, what happened? Fucking A. His fucking nose grew, you know what I mean? And then when you go back and look at that one video about eugenics, you'll see, believe it or not, it was crazy. And you see even back through history how people wanted to change their fucking nose. Whether it be the Jackson Hole family, Eugene Brown Jr., Eugene Brown Sr. didn't change. He didn't do that shit. But Eugene Brown Jr. had a nose, and you can still prevalent. He went to get a nose job too to do the Jackson thing, I guess, when the Jacksons was doing it, I guess about the same time too. He didn't have they didn't have the noses of the barge, they didn't. And it showed, the flatness. And so what it did show is the more African, what do you call the African roots within them. And so they wanted to blend that out, but hey, a ham is a ham is a ham. They're gonna act up any damn way. We're gonna see it. We're gonna figure it out. Figure it out. You know what I mean? Burn. Because people you can only slip so many times, before one says, damn, why does this motherfucker keep on falling? Let me help him back up. Whether they older or younger. Why does this motherfucker keep on falling? And a lot of times it's children, who are actually the ancestors sent in or starseeds sent in to even assist, help. Crazy Rampart, this is again April. So this part is Rampart. It's April. And it's crazy. This is 3rd Street, so I just wrapped past April 2nd Street then, I guess. And the 93 is, oh my goodness, this is fucking like, this is just fucking so. And the 93 runs here too. You see that? That's motherfucking damn gorgeous. That's just, and all they want is that blood. See just blood? You see it? I don't know if you can read it. This camera's really not all that good, but just blood. You know what I'm saying? That's all they want. That's all they want. And that's what we're talking about, the blueprint. That's what we're talking about, the blueprint. So that's what's missing. They just have the blueprint, but they do not have the blue blood. You see what I'm saying? They do not have it. It's just not in them. And even when it gets in them, the only thing it does is prolong their mental state. Evidently, it doesn't change. Even you would think, hey, if you go ahead and uh, you know, change the blood and everything. I'm sorry, drink of the blood. You would think that it would go ahead and start to change their mental state too, but it's really just a transfusion. Like now we can go with soul source tarot with time being fluid. Yeah, okay, because that time really is what we're talking about right now. In this essence, is really time is really emit in Hebrew, which means truth. So truth is fluid. Okay, simply fluid to those who's here simply for the blood of Jesus. All right, it's just simply fluid, which is that of what? The yay, I believe. I gotta go ahead and sit down again. Get this drill bit. The yay, okay? And yin meaning the liquid, okay? Or either vice versa. I gotta get that down. Yin is either liquid, you know, which I would go ahead and transition that to water in the liquid, and the fluid meaning the blood, because they have their own water already, but they don't have the fluid, and that's the blood. That's what they're getting out of that. You know what I'm saying? The blood and everything. That's wow. I kid you not. Wow, it's so fucking crazy because I got this renal care. It's crazy. It's renal care. See this building right there? See the renal? See the renal's in blood. The U.S. care is in blue. You see what I'm saying? That's crazy as fuck. I was just on another. I was on something else, but that's crazy as fuck. I walked past the thing, and that shows you right there. That shit showed you right there. The renal was in blood, and the U.S. care. That's the Sioux, the United States. Harry Carey. That's Carey right there. Ka, meaning the body of Re, which is or Ra, which is evil. But evil, spelled backwards, is live, right? Or live. There we go. So, we got it. 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 Wow. Actually, sweating a little bit, and I'm glad the sun went down. Glad the sun went down. I mean, at least where I'm at right now. Because what I did, I wore this thing out here, right now. And we don't even really need it, but I was carrying this phone, and what do you call this battery might run out a little bit. So that's the reason why I did go ahead and put it in. Carry it. But yeah. So so that's what the blue, especially then of the Appalachian Mountains and everything. The blue people up there too. Matter of fact, that was one of the sections. Appalachians Mountains is one of the countries they pointed out as even being rugged, like Oregon. You can't get through. That's security. Security and everything. Different parts and everything. I guess even up there where New York, I guess Connecticut area. I was one another fortress there. Cali itself, in the desert in Arizona, Texas. It is pretty tight in. So I guess what they're doing, because remember we were speaking on the retardation of the earth, so they knew all this stuff was coming already. Especially right now, because the poles switched on the inside. Okay, the magnetic poles shifted. So therefore, everything is shifted. All right. And you know what? The cool thing about it, this was I was like, when I told him, hey, when it's time to call him, you know, when I call him and everything, because it's a lot of stuff that I wanted to share with him. It's a lot of stuff I wanted to share with him and everything. To go ahead and be ready and just come on, because I know each of them have been studying inside of their field, whether it be acting, whether they're a good actor or a bad actor. We could have got something across. Oh, at the same time, um, you know, with the technology, same thing with the technology. You know what I mean? That's what my only hiccup was, or is for the moment. But AI is completed anyway. Like I said, this shit can be over when this is over there. But when they can't use any motherfucking damn computers, oh shit, that shit is gonna be on and cracking like a motherfucker. Then that's when that shit gonna be on and cracking. Because then it's just gonna be straight mental and physical and how you say harmony with that of our ancestors, which are not inside of these realms right here. Okay. Nobody really got to see any of those. When I went over to Iraq, we heard the stories, even at that time, about all the different encounters with the supernatural, things that would happen out there. As people, witness here, standing on grave sites and everything here, but not in a all-out war type of sequence event. And you're in it, and you're getting that stories from the fucking front line. No, they didn't. It wasn't like that. That's in here with city animated, induced, again by electronics, knowing where different. That's the reason why the feng shui, of these different cities are built like this, even to the bus system themselves. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? Running down each street of the serpent. Now that's fluid. That's fluid right there. All right. Matter of fact, gasolina. The gas. And you get the extra from the SAG, the actors. Those are the actors. And that's what I'm saying as far as acting. They're just actors. They're not the bee, meaning to pollinate. They're doing a polygraph. Doing a pollinization, meaning like poly in the plural sense, but to actually give birth to where everybody's serving each other, and it's not just, well, even the queen, we take care of that, just like up top here, okay, to where she goes ahead and gives birth to a lot, and I'm sure the each clan, even down to the seahorses, okay, that's underneath, all right, they have 90% motherfucking kills, as opposed to the lion with 13 or 14 with a pack. All right. So when it says, hey, you'll go ahead, one will send 1,000 into flight, and two will send 2,000 into flight. Now we're talking about. All right. Like I said, even since right now, it takes a lot of motherfuckers to go ahead and hold me in. Just like a lot of the other ones that are, hey, balance themselves out too, as either be the empress and emperor inside of them, not necessarily trying to impress anybody, just simply being, not acting. Remember that was the first five books. It's like the Torah. It was Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and Acts. And then they went ahead and put the verb as to being an action verb. You know what I mean? To be an action verb. So it ain't really. It's not really about Action Jackson all the damn time. It's like being. You know what I'm saying? Just straight to be. To be or not to be. That is the question.